I think that when they call black people who were born and raised for generations in this country, if you accept the handle of African American, that says that you don't accept being an American American. You don't accept being born in Chicago or New York or Detroit or wherever you were born. For generations, your family has been here, you know? Built this country too. Sweat and tears and all that, fought in every war, okay? So this is my country here. So I don't want to be called African American. I'm an American American. My people have died and done everything for this country.
Good people, what's up? What's good, man? I'm blessed to be your host, Caleb Smith. We are at the top of 2025. Yes, that's crazy to say, y'all. It's a new year, 2025. And with this new year, we're going to be pumping out even more content. Last year was amazing for us. Our platform, it 10X'd. And from that happening last year, we fell deeper in love with what we do. Me, the entire team. Shout out to my wife, Sid, got married last month in December. And just from having 2024, I was so appreciative of all the lessons. I was just so appreciative of every moment, all the highs and lows. But I can't complain because we had way more highs than lows. And even in the lows, you learn. But our platform and being able to touch the people and being able just to reach more people and see us surpass over 25,000 subscribers and starting from day one. So all the people that's been tuned in to the platform, 3 Milli Productions, 3 Milli Podcast from day one, thank y'all. Thank you to every client and guest that's blessed our studio space here at 3 Milli Productions, located downtown in Atlanta. So just from a business standpoint, when it comes to our actual studio space, I'm grateful for what 2024 was for us from a platform and a media perspective as well. I'm grateful for that because that was beautiful. And I'm telling y'all, man, this year we're going to do even more than what we did last year. So, and that starts with this series, Chillin With Caleb. For all the people that's been tuned in, you know that this was a thing where I sit down once a week, chop it up with you guys about current events, get in my journalistic bag, I guess you could say somewhat. And crazy enough, bro, Chillin With Caleb was a show that started for me all the way back in college when I was over the school podcast department. That was part of the radio station in the school newspaper. So being able to do those things and carry that onto here, man, it's just something I'm extremely grateful for. And all this started with a simple vision of just telling our people's stories through a black lens, a black creative lens, and that's what we are doing. But 2025, y'all, has started off already crazy. I want for all you guys in the comments to comment below what you guys want me to chop it up with you guys about next when it comes to current events. But and then two, man, what guests you guys would love to see in 2025. But I'm excited for this. Thank y'all for tuning in to Chillin With Caleb. And to start this off, as a lot of people were privy to, man, to start off New Year's Day, unfortunately in New Orleans, man, it was a crazy situation. And seeing that, I was just in shock, like, dang, 2025, we already getting started off crazy. And I remember just playing certain clips throughout the past few days. Shout out to the good brother, Tariq Nasheed, and just tuning in to him and listening. And he had said something that I was already thinking about as well. And we got King Simon, y'all, coming in January to start the year off. So wait for the interviews, y'all. Hey, we got something for y'all. But Tariq had broke down from a metaphysical perspective about 2025 being a year of change, right? And how 2025 adds up to 9. And 9 is a big change. And 9 is in congruence with Mars and war, things of that sort. So expect things to bubble. 2024 was a year of revelation, right? Cat Williams, he started it off as nobody would ever forget. Shout out to Shannon Sharp, shout out to Unc, about things changing. So things did change. Things did get revealed. We saw giants like a Puff, right, get moved to the side, like, yo, we're going to expose Puff. Like, dang, you see that. You see rumors about TD Jake. So you see all these things unfolding right before our very eyes. So 2025, I firmly believe that as well. We're going to get King Simon's perspective on that, right, about numerology and a numerovation, like what he says, perspective of what to expect, and not only what to expect, but what should we do? What is the solution behind this? So our platform is very solution oriented. So we don't just talk about our history. How do we apply our history towards a better tomorrow and an even better today as well? But man, seeing this in New Orleans, it was crazy because we just had our family reunion. Shout out to the Rucker family reunion on my mom's side, man. We've been doing it consecutively. I think they're almost at 70 years. So it's a beautiful thing. So shout out to all my Black people, man, from the South. But yeah, man, we had our family reunion in New Orleans last year. So my mom seeing, dang, like we was just there. And it's like, wow, that just happened. So seeing those things is very shaking, right? And just to give you guys a tidbit, as you guys are probably already privy to, but we're going to share some news with you guys and serve as a good source for you as well. But this is according to CBS News. The man driving the vehicle has been identified as Shamsuddin Jabbar, 42, a U.S. citizen from Texas, the FBI said. In televised remarks Wednesday evening, President Biden said the FBI has determined that just hours before the attack, Jabbar, quote unquote, posted videos to social media indicating that he was inspired by ISIS, expressing a desire to kill. The vehicle was an electric Ford pickup truck that appears to have been rented. The FBI said. Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick said on social media Jabbar rented the truck on December 30th while living in the Houston area before heading to New Orleans. FBI Special Agent Althea Duncan said at a news conference Wednesday morning that investigators do not believe that Jabbar was solely responsible for the attack, and the FBI believes he may have had help carrying it out. Duncan said the FBI is looking at a quote-unquote range of suspects and do not want to rule anything out at this stage of the investigation. The FBI is also working to determine his potential affiliations or associations with the terrorist association. So they use associations twice. So when we first, listen, y'all, we're going to keep it a buck. When we first saw or probably heard about this, I know y'all probably thought white supremacists maybe. And then once we saw a picture of the individual who carried out this attack, then everybody's like, oh, yo, he looked like a brother, right? And then when you see the name, and then it's like, where is he from? And then you start seeing Hamas connections where people are bringing those things out. So this can get somewhat dicey because people can somewhat say, hey, is this a planet thing to strike emotion, right? Where people were supposed to then feel like how we felt when it came to a 9/11 of building patriotism and, okay, let's go after Hamas. Is Hamas the new ISIS, right? So they're saying he's connected to ISIS. So this is something, no pun intended, that could be very explosive, especially at the top of the year. When it comes to a geopolitical perspective, when it comes to how are we going to carry these things out, what's this going to look like, how do we find who else is attached to this? I'm from Georgia, so shout out to all my UGA fans out there. We were expecting a great game between Georgia and Notre Dame, and that has now been postponed to today, which is Wednesday night, which is when I'm currently filming. And we got the game playing right in the background because I still got to see what the Dog's going to do, even with a backup quarterback. Georgia needs a black quarterback, athletic quarterback. We're saying that for the longest, but that's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, so just seeing this, how this was able to affect New Orleans. And I think where our people are getting smarter, we're starting to see this is affecting it from an economic standpoint. See, people on the base level, they might be concerned about, dang, this might affect them when it comes to the people. Yes, they are worried about the people. I can't say that inhumane, but we do have crazy theories out there. But also this is from an economic standpoint because you're talking about multi-million-dollar things, $1 billion coming in where you got the college football playoff, but also what a lot of people have forgotten about, you got the Super Bowl coming up next month in New Orleans. So now you have people feeling somewhat hesitant, uncomfortable about being in these environments. New Orleans makes a lot of their money from tourism. So now they are faced with a big juxtaposition about, okay, how do we have people feel comfortable, but how do we attack this issue? And also from seeing this, at least 14 killed, dozens hurt on Bourbon Street in New Orleans as driver intentionally slams truck into crowd, attacker dead. We hear about the bombs, all these things. And man, 2025, very first day, we have this going on. Then, of course, we got Trump in Vegas. So we have an array of things happening simultaneously on January 1st, 2025. And people often come in, guys, with a bit of anxiety about what to expect with the new year. What is this going to look like? What should I prepare for? God, I'm one of your toughest soldiers, but I don't want that package this year. I've been seeing that a lot. I get that. And I think from us seeing these things, it's like, wow, stuff is real. Like this could happen. This could happen at the bowl game. This can happen with the Super Bowl. So just from seeing these things, I think that this somewhat makes people alert in trying to find out what's going on. But this situation, I think, is very important to see and to understand. I think our people, we have to be very aware of what's going on. We have to be very vigilant when it comes to our gun rights ownership, when it comes to how we carry out certain things, what we do. Just protect our families, black men especially, like be on the lookout. And I already know how we are when we go out, we give each other that head nod like, yo, what's up? So I think that intentionally we have to look out for each other. We have to understand and look around, check our surroundings, and just do what black people do on a typical day. Look around, check, make sure everything's all right. All my men, make sure that you're facing the door anytime that you're going out to eat, just to see, okay, who's walking in, who's walking out. Because I know sometimes it can seem paranoid, but it's not paranoid. Because in today's time, anything could pop off. And what individuals like this, what they expect is for us to not be paying attention or to be too comfortable. But again, we have a lot of things to really worry about. Seeing this situation is crazy. My family and parents are from Winder, Georgia, and seeing that mass shooting, that was crazy. So it's so many things going on that we really have to really be on code and really come together as a people, because that's the only way how we're going to make this. All we got is each other, y'all. All we got is each other. But this case is very, very interesting just to see how it unfolds. Althea Duncan, FBI director, seeing how she was treated, FBI special agent, of people just talking about, oh, she has a nose ring, or oh, she looks like this. She's a DEI hire. All my black people out there, our people especially, understand that these are coded words. This is coded language. DEI hire is just how this black person get this job. More specifically, how did this black woman get this job? So, man, all my people out in corporate America, I know that's frustrating, because you see Jimmy with the nepotism and they get promoted, and it's like, dang, I'm over here putting in the work. Or if I do get promoted, I'm held to a different standard. That's okay. That's what our people have constantly had to deal with. Seeing the film 6888, I was so inspired. I actually looked up the actual people of the cast, the sergeants, all those things, and seeing what those women had to go through, and seeing how much our people had to persevere and prevail. We have to carry that same mindset into corporate America. Everybody can't be entrepreneurs. Everybody can't be content creators. Me and my friends and family, man, we were just having this conversation. It takes everybody in the community doing certain things at a certain period of time to propel what we got going on. Even when it comes to the richest black people that we see, or the most prominent, it's the everyday black working class that funds those businesses, that makes them who they are. Even things like an Amazon that we see today, it's the everyday person. It's so accessible. That's what makes it so powerful. So understand, man, all our brothers and sisters that's in corporate America. And when we hear these things that we saw with Special Agent Duncan of DEI hire, that's the first thing that they're going to try to go after. How we look, how we carry ourselves, how we talk. But we already know it's because they want to be us. We are the secret sauce, but we have to support our people that are supporting us. And yeah, man, we just have to carry out that mindset into 2025, that we're going to come out more efficient. We're going to be who we supposed to be. We're going to grind how we supposed to grind. And identity politics is something that it could be a double-edged sword. We've seen them try to use that towards Vice President Harris, where they try to make her appear towards black people that we have to vote for her because she's black. But then in that same breath, you see white supremacists being disrespectful because she's black. So both sides of the coin, it can work. And I think that's what makes things like this such a prevalent thing, because you see a black woman being torn down simply because she's black. In my own personal opinion, I think I find it interesting that at first she was stating that she felt like he acted alone. Then those words changed and they go against that. And I think sometimes you could get set up when you are a black face in a very hot place as the fall guy. And then they can say, hey, we hired somebody. We did a DEI hire. But understand, man, in those situations, that's why it's so important for us as a people to be on code. Because just in case if you do lose that prominent position, you have the people and the people's support to still hold you afloat, even if things go left. And that's why we have to build our own institutions. So just in case if you do get fired from that corporate job, or if you decide, hey, I don't want to do that in the corporate sector anymore, you have your own black corporate sector, or you have your own businesses, or you have your own systems that have been created for you that then you can utilize for the better good of our people. So yeah, man, we just have to stay on that grind. We have to stay locked in, to keep staying on this case, to check out what's going on. But I think there's always more to the story. I find this so interesting because this happens on New Year's Day. It happens right before the Sugar Bowl. And then you got the Super Bowl the following month. So how does this affect when it comes to the NFL's pockets? Will they potentially even think about changing venues and arenas? Because I thought about that, because I'm like, man, I have never seen in my lifetime that I can remember a very big bowl game, a Sugar Bowl, being moved because of an event or a tragedy that happens outside of the stadium. And then not only is it changed, the times are changed, all of these things. How does that affect networks? How does that affect commercials, ads? We're talking about billion-dollar things that happen at a certain time, man. So yeah, so just stay studied on this. We're going to keep staying vigilant towards this, seeing what's going on. How can we approach this? But stay safe out there. Check your surroundings. But this brother, I found this very interesting, though. I found this very interesting because so many people say, yo, this a brother right here. This a brother. And of course, you know, his background, people are looking further into that. So I found that very interesting of, hey, he's an Army vet too. Did he see some things? Was he part of a special armed force? Did those things turn him? And did he find something that turned him away from America? Because I think a lot of those Army vets that we see on these shows, they see things or they're part of special ops that they can't talk about. And then when they go left, it's just like he went rogue. But it's like, what sparked that? What made him go rogue? So it's so many layers to unfold. But yeah, man, we're going to stay on this. We're going to keep reading about it. We're going to keep sharing and chopping it up. Let me know your thoughts in the comments about that. And now we're about to go to our very next segment. Stay tuned. All right, y'all. In this next segment, man, we kind of preluded this talking about the whole event that happened last with New Orleans and about the FBI, a special agent, Althea Duncan, being somewhat thrown under the bus. And earlier, you know, I was talking about us having that secret sauce that everybody wants to seek. And this kind of connects perfectly because Fat Joe was just on Math Office podcast. This was a real big thing. And seeing Fat Joe talk very crazy about the foundational Black American community. And one play I've been seeing that's somewhat and so frustrating to me is about this thing about turning it into an organization and Tariq Nasheed is the leader. And I'm like, where do we come up with this? How did a lineage of being a Black American become an organization? And then we got Fat Joe talking about it's a hate group. It's a bunch of dusty, broke people. Then he's using the N-word. Listen, I'm from Atlanta, born and raised. We don't let Hispanics say the N-word. And you can be as cool as possible. One of my best friends till this day is Hispanic. And he's never even said the N-word around me, ever. Because it's just understood that you don't do that. I know New York is a different culture, I know, but this is how serious Black people take it in the South, because for our ancestors, the same that people went up north, unfortunately, that was probably one of the last words that they heard before being lynched. So hate crimes, all those things. So I think in the South, that just hits different. And hearing Fat Joe's words, I was very disgusted because I find it so interesting that you say that, but this is the culture that you went off of. This is the same culture that you used as your base to become cool, because how you walk, how you talk, how you dress, how you carry yourself, that's all Black energy. And more specifically, that's all Black American energy. So I think that our people have to be very careful to point these things out with how people talk about us, how people talk down to us, and that we have to have pride in who we are and where we come from. That's the most important thing. Because if you have no pride in who you are or where you come from, I can then tell you any lie about yourself and you will believe it because you have no cultural self-esteem. And what's going on, I think that's frustrating so many people who are not Black Americans, is that Black America has finally woken up and realized its power and said, hey, the same way that I can say I'm a Jamaican American, or I can say that my people are from Honduras, Belize, from the islands, I'm from America. And that's okay, man. We talking about generation upon generation upon generation. And during the holidays, I find this time so beautiful because, especially in the South, man, I tell people, bro, it's a different type of energy in the South. We've had these conversations with the great master teacher, Dr. Kava Kamene, about there's something in that Southern soil, man. It slaps, it hits different, where you are in touch with the ancestors. And for me, being able to grow up in the South, being able to grow up in Atlanta, but then spend the summers with my grandmother who lived more on the rural side, and being able to have a big mama and a big daddy who were my great grandparents who were sharecroppers, you get different stories. You get a different type of pride. You can go back generation upon generation. You know who you are. And we have to get back to that pride. And I think that pride simply starts from during the holidays for all my people that is part of the foundational Black American community. And when I say that for the people who are unaware of what that is a term for Black Americans who are indigenous to this land. And when I say that, I'm not even talking about how people try to use the term Native Blacks. I'm saying for Black people who are non-immigrants. Simple. And that's nothing against immigrants. I love, the people, amazing people. It's just what's going on right now is there's Black Americans and Black America as a whole that is waking up and saying, hey, we are a very special group of people. We're a very specific group of people that had something very specific that happened to us. I strongly urge people to check out the writings and the research and the data of the late Dr. Claude Anderson, who speaks on this very same issue. He used the term Native Blacks. Of course, we've had terms such as Negro that describe Black people here in America. But yeah, man, just read those things, study those things, and understand when it comes to this thing that's going on with the Fat Joe. I think that there is frustration now because people can't leech off of Black American culture like how they used to. You have the power of these things, these phones, social media, where people are now understanding, hey, we can share this information at the speed of light. And with this information being shared, there's new ideas, there's new concepts, and not even new ideas and new concepts. They are new additions to old conversations and old things that's already been happening. I just think now that we have reached a point where people are intentionally trying to erase Black culture and say, oh, Black culture is trash, or say that Black Americans have no culture. But then every single time I'm turning on the TV, everybody's trying to be us. Everybody's monetizing these things. So Black culture is the foods that we eat. There's a great show on Netflix about Black cuisine and how that is now, and not is now, has always been in the blueprint, in the DNA of what American cuisine is. So when people are going to 5-star restaurants and all these things, these are foundations that were laid by foundational Black Americans when it comes to the foods that we eat, when it comes to engineering, when it comes to technology. There's so many Black American inventions. My goodness. Like what they said, the only thing, and I forgot who had said this, but Dr. Cobb or somebody had told me this quote, Ernest Krim as well. Thank you, Ernest Krim, my man, friend of the show, that we came up with the inventions. And the only thing that when it comes to white America that they owned more was the patent office. So they were able to take our ideas, our inventions, and patent those things and monetize it and write most of those things away from history. But shout out to my dad. It was a great book that I had as a kid growing up, Black Inventors. Look that book up. It's pages upon pages about Black inventors and what they've invented and what they have contributed to America. And we are told that sometimes that Black Americans live in the ghetto. That's another lie. I was blessed to grow up in a suburb of Atlanta. So many people that was my age, and all of us, we were able to grow up and rub shoulders with celebrities, rub shoulders with people who were successful entrepreneurs or worked in government contracting, that worked in the federal government, that did all these things, politicians. So for us, especially Black people here in Atlanta, and I know Black people in Houston, it hits different. Black people in DC, it hits different because you've seen Black success your entire life. You've seen Black entrepreneurship. You've seen Black corporate America your entire life. So hearing these things about Black America isn't this, that, and the third, we're like, nah, that's not true. And again, like what I said with the film earlier, 688, like I urge people to watch films like that because it shows you the genius of our people. It shows our people, man, this is what we came from. And let me look up real quick her name just to give her her flowers, man, because this Black woman right here, Charity Edna Adams. Yes. When you guys get the chance, please look up Major Charity Edna Adams. She was amazing. 6888 Battalion. She was in charge of that battalion. When I tell you, man, she was a genius. Look up her track record when she was in college, what she was doing. She was literally a genius. This is our people. This is pre-internet, all these things. Look up our people, the power that they had, the geniuses that we had. Look up those things. And see, that's the problem. If you are ignorant, you will believe anything that somebody is telling you. If our culture is so trash, how are we still here? We are literally trying to be exterminated as we speak. They are trying to exterminate us, and we are still here, standing strong. We are America's biggest problem because they can't survive without us, but they hate us, but they love us. It's a tug, man. So understand who we are. Shout out to Dave Anderson, friend of the show as well. He had an excellent clip on I Never Knew TV, great platform, about this same very issue. And I urge people to check out that clip as well. But we have to understand who we are. And we can't have people coming in as guests into this culture telling us how we should think, what we should think, how we should move, what's not okay, who's not okay, what we shouldn't listen to. We shouldn't have somebody on our behalf speaking to the president that's not us, point blank, period. It's time for us to get meaner, and not even in a mean way. It's time for us to be more business oriented. Our biggest downfall is being so giving. That's how we got into the situation in the first place. But we have to now understand delineation is not a bad thing. You can still do that and still exert friendliness in the marketplace. That's what every other culture does. You take care of home first, and then you take care of everybody else second. So that's all right, man. Brother Malcolm, he even spoke about that. Like, if your family business and if your house is burning up, you got to tend to that house, to your house first before you help any neighbors. So we have to get more locked in when it comes to those things and understand that we have to start gatekeeping. We have to gatekeep our culture. We have to gatekeep everything that we do and who we are, because what happens is they will take those things, rename it, and call it theirs. Just like country music. We've seen that with Beyonce, which is what we're about to talk about next once we wrap up this segment. But understand, y'all, that we have to protect home first. We come from such a beautiful culture. So when you guys get back home, talk to your grandmas, talk to your aunties, your uncles. Everybody knows everybody too. You'll be so surprised when you start talking to your family and they could tell you about Willie Lee or this person, that person. They have stories on stories. So just use 2 ears and 1 mouth. Talk to your family, listen to the stories, download that information from them, because they are a wealth of knowledge. And like what they say, when an ancestor dies, a library burns down. So understand that we have to grasp these stories. Talk to your big mamas, talk to your grandmas, because by you then knowing more specifically who you are and where you come from when it comes towards your family, it's a whole different type of pride. When it comes to hearing their stories about land ownership, hearing their stories about going from sharecropping to then owning land and then owning a home and then building businesses for their families. Like, that's pride, y'all. Understanding that they had every odd stacked against them and they still prevailed. It was a death sentence just being black in the South, and they survived and lived in it and thrived in it. But yeah, man, just understand that. And if they try to just switch those things and say, hey, well, y'all migrated and fled to the north, that's not true, because those same families that went up to the north, what they do anytime they got in trouble, what they say, time to go back down south, or what they do during their summers. Emmett Till, he was in Chicago, but his family was from Mississippi originally. Where'd he go during the summers? Mississippi. So that connection from the south to the north was always there. So our people had a pride in staying put and fighting through. Even when they went up north for better jobs, you still had a home base in the south. So during this time, we have to find a way to connect again those southern roots. Even if you are living in New York, LA, wherever, connect those southern roots back home and get back in touch with that. Shout out to all the people out in LA. They always say, hey, I'm from Arkansas, or I got family from Arkansas, Mississippi, Georgia, Louisiana. Get back to those roots, y'all, because that's what makes us so special. Is we have such a unique experience. We have such a unique time, and the blood that was shed was ours. So understand that. Understand who we are. Take pride in that. Love that, because there's nobody like us, and they know that, and you should know that as well. So spread that information. Spread that love amongst our people, to take pride that we invented, we created. We've done so much with everything stacked against you. The fact that you're simply standing right now is a blessing. You're powerful. You're beautiful. And we've done so much, and there's so much more to do. But it's time for us to gatekeep what we have going on. Even when it comes to when we see these artists try to come in and they try to create that Black American experience, it's not going to hit the same, because you have that ancestral intelligence that's already in you. In the words of Dr. Kaba, it's already in you, that ancestral intelligence. That's the real AI. So apply that towards how we carry ourselves, who we are, that same dignity that they had. And y'all, real quick before we wrap this story, or this segment rather, about Fat Joe FBA experience. We have a thing called governance. Shout out to Dr. Greg Carr, that he uses that term where it's this cultural knowing of us knowing who we are. So governance, a great example of that is if I'm walking past a brother and I'm at the mall and I see him, it's a head nod. I ain't even got to know him. He gives me that head nod. That's governance, right? But even further is our story. So many times on social media, for all the Black people that grew up in a Black household, you'll see certain videos or memes. Shout out to my guy, Randy P. Ryan. His stuff is hilarious because everybody's like, yo, I grew up like that. Like with the mom making us clean on Saturday morning, playing Stephanie Mills, and she playing all the good music, all the throwbacks. I had that experience, right? So a real life example of our people having such a unique experience is, I was talking to my wife, Sid, and I was like, man, I remember spending those summers down in the country with my grandmother and my grandfather, and they did not play about us being up in the morning. Like that whole sleeping in during the summer as a kid till 12, you just laying around, you stand up late. They didn't do that, man. Shout out to my grandma. We call her Mama. But Mama, man, she would make us be up at 9 o'clock, 9:30 in the morning. At the latest, you better be, even if you sitting on top of your bed, you better be sitting on top of a made bed, fully dressed. You suited and booted. They had us like old people. And I think that's what made us mature faster, is that you had to be mature in their environments. So I say all that to say, I shared that story with my wife, just from my mother, unprovoked, brings it up to Sid. Yeah, my grandmother, who was her grandmother, which was my big mama, right? My great grandmother. But she would say, man, big mama, she would have us up early in the morning. Even if you're not doing nothing, you sitting up, you're on top of your bed, a made bed. That's governance. That's the FBA experience of our people having dignity of, hey, we're not going to be lazy. We're going to be suited and booted, ready to go. As we know, our grandparents, they be fully dressed for nothing. They be wearing suits. Our granddads be wearing suits or polos, or dressed down is all linen for them. So our people have a standard. So when we hear our people have no culture, or when you hear that our people are lazy, if all that's true, how did they build this? In a conversation. We have way more work to do. We aren't perfect, but what group of people are perfect? There's work to be done, and it's up to our generation to propel that work of our ancestors from all the foundations, no pun intended, that they've laid for our people, aka FBA, Foundational Black Americans. So, man, shout out to our people. Shout out to great people that's pushing the movement forward. That's not a leader, just a voice. Brother Tariq Nasheed, shout out to you. Marcel Dixon, shout out to you. Dr. Kaba, Ernest Krim. There's so many great brothers and sisters out there, man. Shout out to my bro, KT the arts degree. But, man, we have so many special people out here. Even if people aren't, quote unquote, FBA, we have a collective of people. And that's what it takes. It takes us as a people, Black America, coming together, making things happen. And then our brothers and sisters from the diaspora, us merging and creating those bridges. So I'm in no means saying, oh, we don't need our brother. Yes, we need everybody. We need everybody. But I think it's time, too, that we start gatekeeping and protect our home first as well. So tap in with us, man. We about to tackle this next segment about Beyonce, country music, and the Super Bowl. And then we're going to close out after that. Stay tuned. Peace, family. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. On this last segment, man, this was something that is crazy. It was dope to see. It was such an experience. You got Netflix on the NFL, Christmas, all this going on. NFL still in Christmas from the NBA, of course. But, man, Beyonce, once again. And I can't even say that she stole the show, because the show, it was about her. Our good brother, Lamar Jackson, killing it out there. Dominated. I think the Baltimore Ravens won 34-2. The Chiefs had played prior against my Steelers, man. Russell Wilson needs the Steelers to tighten up, get right, y'all. We need them to get right, Steelers Nation. But, yeah, man, seeing our good sis Beyonce go out there, do her thing, that was a full Black American experience on full display. Just seeing her, man, she was fully in her bag, big time. How she even started it off, amazing, breathtaking. And seeing our sister of just doing prominent things, doing it in such a beautiful way. And she did something that I love that she didn't have to verbalize. But the CMAs, if they want to X her out, you could do that. I'm going to go even bigger. I'm going to use my resources to flex and to create my own platform. And I guess for me, I resonated with that because this is how this platform started. Off of us having what we had to do. And I could say for myself in particular, right, of being in school and being active in the journalism program and doing the media for the school and every type of department and getting paid to do it by the college while still being in school, like doing all those things. And then after college, you aren't given opportunities, or you're applying for these opportunities and it's not given to you, but you know that you have the talent, you know that you have what it takes. So boom, I'm gonna just create it for myself. And seeing Beyonce do that, I'm like, wow, I resonate with that. And my wife is the biggest Beyonce fan out there, her in the Beehive. And I know that She told me that she felt that as well because my wife pushed me to start 3 Milli Productions. So 3 Milli Productions would not even exist if it wasn't for Sid, y'all. So seeing Beyonce create that for herself, seeing the value of the production, seeing her come out on the white horse, seeing the Compton Cowboys, seeing the black rodeo winner from Arkansas, shout out to that beautiful black woman, and just seeing what so many people can do when our people come together, seeing that production was a beautiful thing to see. That's our power, y'all, of just putting things together, even when people are trying to not see us be great, when they don't want to see us be successful. We still gonna make it happen, and we're gonna make it look dope while doing it. Just seeing everybody's reaction on TikTok, Mechanical Bull, that whole riff, that run right there, her choreography was insane. And I think it might spark the conversation. Y'all can let me know in the comments. Beyonce might be the GOAT, y'all. I love Michael. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, I love Michael. I was running around the house. Oh, bro, I loved it. Rock My World, that single with Chris Tucker growing up. I had that album when that album first came out, and I played that nonstop as a kid. I love Michael. Free Willy, that's one of my favorite movies as a kid. Michael is that guy. He's that boy. He's the GOAT. But I feel like Beyonce and Michael are paired up together, like how LeBron and Michael or Kobe and Michael. I feel like it has reached that upper echelon that your preference, you're right. If you say Beyonce, you're right. If you say Michael, you're right. But in my defense of the late, Beyonce knows Carter. I can say longevity, which is what I say towards LeBron. I'm a big Bron fan and I love Michael, and I was a big Kobe fan, but LeBron is my favorite player of all time. And one of my biggest arguments is longevity. When people try to minimize that, I sometimes say you must not be great because people don't understand how hard that is to be at a certain level for such a long period of time. And you don't even fall off at that because people are waiting for you to fall off. So you're so great for so long. Well, Michael was great, but we saw Michael decline when it comes towards his health, all those things. We're seeing Beyonce at 42 years old. I don't think people truly understand this, y'all. If you start Beyoncé Bowl on Netflix, she's starting outside of the Houston Texans Stadium. Then she's walking. Then she's on the horse. And then now she's on the football field. And like what they said on TikTok, she used every square inch of that football field. And then she ends singing, getting propelled up to the sky. I'm like, bro, my goodness, she's 42, y'all. Like, she's giving us so much. 42. That's insane. Doing this. And she might even be 43 for all I know. But Beyonce doing this at such a high level. We have got to respect that. You got to salute that. Because being that great, where people are expecting you to fail, people are intentionally watching just to hate. And that's something else that we got to admire. The same way that she has the beehive, she got her own hater hive. And one of the things that I hate to see is all the people, they try to say, oh, Beyonce's demonic, especially when it comes from my black people. Because y'all don't call Elon Musk demonic. Y'all don't be looking to make everything demonic when it comes to Jeff Bezos. Y'all be riding they nuts when it comes to billionaires. Y'all think that they're so intelligent, so smart. You try to wake up in the morning, take an ice bath, because that's what Elon Musk and does. But you have none of that reverence towards people who look like you. Because the only way that they can be that successful, she had to sell her soul. But you didn't think Elon Musk sold his soul. You didn't think your favorite millionaire on Instagram who you follow for entrepreneurship advice, that he just worked hard and he got it out the mud and he figured it out. But you don't think that Beyonce did that. How interesting. And that's not by happenstance either that you feel that way. So just be weary when we see people doing that type of stuff too, when they call that demonic, because those same persons, the same people in their churches don't even know their Bible from start to finish. So don't even get caught up in that, y'all. Salute Queen Beyonce. Admire her greatness. We need to be in a season of admiring greatness, whether that's LeBron. Don't be hating on him. If you don't like LeBron, that's okay, but don't hate. There's a difference between not liking and hating. If you don't like Beyonce, don't hate. If you don't like Pat Mahomes, appreciate the greatness that we're watching from these people, because this might be the last time that you see it in this lifetime at that level. When people saw Michael, I hope that they enjoyed it, because you will not see another Michael Jordan again. When they saw Whitney, you will not see another Whitney Houston again. That's the voice. So you will not see another Beyonce. So appreciate her greatness. Love on that greatness, man. So understand that, y'all. But seeing what she did from a Black American perspective and embracing country music and showing and starting that conversation that it comes from us, that's invaluable, of giving a great history lesson that this is our culture. We got so many country Black folk. I come from that. So many of us come from, those are our roots. The term cowboy itself was a derogatory term. So we just have to understand these things. Mario Van Peebles, him and his father have done an excellent job of explaining cowboy history. Cynthia Villery. She was excellent on our podcast. Check her out as well. The Black Rodeo, the Bill Pickett Rodeo. She's part of that. Check out that. We have been doing Bill Pickett. Look him up. All the stuff that they do from the rodeos, all that comes from Bill Pickett. It comes from us. Understand that we were the Cowboys, man. And I think 1 out of every 3 or 4 Cowboys were black. Tells you everything that you need to know. So our people, again, have such a rich history. But what happens is it gets waxed over, and then people start thinking, oh, country music, that's white people's music. No, that comes from you. That comes from bluegrass. That comes from the blues. It comes from us. That banjo, what do you think that come from, right? Got the banjo from Africa. So all these things, and the banjo turned into what? The guitar. So understand our culture, understand our history, and this is our culture. Beyonce had black culture, black American culture on full display. That's who we are. And I know Charleston White had made comments about black culture being trash and things like that. Respectfully, I disagree. Of course, there's elements of every culture that could be trash, but our people are very special people, and we have to tip our hat to our people. Because if you don't do that, and if you're always talking down to our people and we're always critiquing in a bad way, we got to also show those positive stories as well. So shout out to Queen B on the production side. Amazing. The dancers, amazing. The band, everything. It was a full black experience, man. And I had a blast watching it. It was fire. It was so fire. I've had to watch it multiple times just to appreciate the greatness. So appreciate greatness, y'all. Shout out to Beyonce as well. Excellent job. Let me know what you guys think about her performance as well in the comments. On to the next. Peace. What's up, y'all? In this last segment, man, we're going to talk about this topic, but we're going to talk about it and approach it from a very holistic perspective. I'm not coming in to bash. I'm not coming in to crack jokes on them, but good old Travis Hunter, man. That situation is crazy. We've been seeing it everywhere. Colorado, unfortunately, lost their bowl game. They look bad. Dion, man, please get these brothers right, bro. Let's get the details together because this was rough. But our brother Travis, man, see him at the highest moment of his life, win the Heisman, and then seeing his girlfriend, fiance, at that. Of course, body language is very important, and not to see her jump up immediately. And I get it. I'm not trying to nitpick that, but I think that from seeing everything else that transpired with this situation, the most important thing for young black men to understand from this is that your woman is supposed to provide you with peace. And I'm not saying, you know how they say behind every great man is a great woman, but I think beside is more important. And I heard Dr. Kaba, he told me that as well, because this is your life partner. And I've been blessed to see my grandparents be married for decades, very long time. I think 60 plus years. My great-great-grandparents were married, I think, for 70 plus, almost 80 years. So I've seen black love at its highest rate. And it's important to understand that that is your life partner. And I think for Travis, it's going to come down to a very tough conversation of just sitting down and saying, hey, I love you, babe, but you're bringing way too much negative attention. And I think the one aspect that I know Prom is probably telling in his ear is what you have got to understand is that these scouts are now going to ask you about her. Is she going to be a distraction? See, I don't think people truly understand that when these young brothers go throughout that draft process, and I know people show images where I believe as well that it's similar to a slave auction, but these brothers are also broken down psychologically. If you guys ever get the chance, you have access or you got friends access to Max, formerly HBO Max, try to check out Hard Knocks in season. One specific episode was at the draft combine. At the combine, you will see Jaden Daniels. That brother is a baller, by the way, for the Commanders. Jaden Daniels, the young brother who's the quarterback of the Commanders, the sorry New York Giants, the worst front office in the NFL, them and the Jets, they are breaking down Jaden Daniels mentally. They're making him feel like he doesn't know the plays enough. They're asking him random terminology. And Jaden probably did the worst out of all the quarterbacks. But Jaden did the best this season out of all the quarterbacks. But they do small things like playing with your mental. CJ Stroud, rookie of the year, right? They said on the Wonderlic, he did the worst. So we shouldn't draft him number 1. He goes number 2. Balls out for the Texans. A lot of this testing and stuff similar to the SAT, ACT, we know is not geared towards our people, and it's setups to make their draft stock go down. But I say all that to say with Travis, that can also affect you. You don't want your draft stock to go down where they say that you will have a low mental rate. Yes, academic All-American. He's amazing. Travis Hunter is an amazing young brother. But I'm just saying you don't want to put yourself in a position where you jeopardize millions of dollars off of external factors that unfortunately you can't control. So when it comes to his lady, we've seen the music videos, we've seen a lot of craziness and foolishness. In my own personal opinion, I do think that Travis should move on from her. I just think that when it comes to a certain level of respect, when you say that I wasn't your type of thing, and I know she tried to clean that up and clear that up, but once you say certain things, you can't take those things back, especially when it's on camera and it's shared to the world. So you have to be very careful about how you are presenting yourself to other people, to the world, to advertisers. Just simple things like when he was signing all the memorabilia at the Heisman Awards, and she's talking about how much longer. And then when it comes to at the Heisman, where Deion's telling her to stand up, it's his first Adidas commercial. She's in the commercial. I just think those are things that scream we haven't had a conversation about our roles of, hey, babe, I love you. You are number one in my life, but let me go out, do my thing, get this bag to bring you back to us, provide, create our family. And it's just that simple. You don't have to be in everything. You don't have to be out front. I know that you're possibly trying to build your brand, but let's first solidify my brand, lock that in, make sure that I have a clean image. Because if I'm not presented in a proper manner, what you're presented in, that would not matter because now I'm the bag. So we have to understand and acknowledge that. But I think that's where egos comes to play. I think that theoretically speaking, that she was the chase. She's always felt like the chase. So it's hard for her to then reclassify herself and understand that he's the guy. This is the guy that's on the cover of NCAA. He's the guy who has the highest rating on NCAA. He won the Heisman. He might even, because the Patriots right now have the first, he might go number one in the draft. These are huge things. So how do we then reorganize our relationship dynamic, which could be very uncomfortable to now I'm the chase. But by me saying I'm the chase is not me minimizing you. That's not me saying that you aren't more important. All those things. No, but it's just me saying that I'm the guy. And we have to find out how to put myself in the best situation to win in life. Because if I win, all of us win. I'm the moneymaker in this dynamic. I'm bringing all this in. I'm the provider, not only for you, but for my family. So we got to make sure that you're straight. And I think that Travis, the first person that he should most definitely reach out to is Bron. If Bron hasn't already contacted him. And just see how Bron moved when it came to Savannah, when it came to putting all his friends on, when it came to not having drama and scandals. That's the one thing. Mike had scandals. Kobe had scandals, but Bron has not had a scandal. Jinx, knock on wood, but Bron has not had a scandal. So we have to learn, okay, Bron, what did you do? Show me step by step. Brian, how did you still take care of your body? How did you still become a billionaire while still playing, but you still wear a husband? You still wear how did you juggle all these things? You still wear a son. You still took care of your mother. You still wear the breadwinner. How did you handle all these pressures? I just think Travis, he was just green, and he has to sit down and get around young brothers that's been in it, that's done it. Deion is great, but sometimes it's like having a parent where you hear the same message from the same person. It might help hearing the same message from a different person. So hearing it from a LeBron, I think, would be greatly beneficial for Travis Hunter. He's a smart brother, great grades in school. He stays out of trouble. He doesn't party, even when people were cracking jokes about him being outside of the house in the whip, waiting on her to come in, which was crazy simp behavior. But that should show people, hey, he's not about partying. He's not about doing all these other things. So we have got to find a way to protect this brother. I know that so many people are constantly making videos. We're talking about it right now, so I'm guilty of it too. But let's approach this with a very holistic perspective and with a positive mindset of, okay, you can have critiques of the girlfriend. We can have critiques of this person, that person. But Travis, how do we implement and get Travis right? How do we make sure that Travis is good? And that should be our overall objective. And young athletes, man, be very careful about the partner that you choose. So many times we've seen young brothers, Deion Sanders as well, he's gone through it, where you go through a nasty divorce. French Montana, you remember that line when he was like, you wasn't with me shooting in the gym? We was talking about Kobe, but that's a real thing. Like, you put in all those hours, all that work, the mat drills, the individual training, the padded practices, those summer days, those summer nights, weight room grinding, and you can lose all that off of choosing the wrong women to lay down with, even for 30 minutes of your time. That can change your life. You could be paying child support and doing all these things for a woman that you don't even love, for a child that you may not ever even see or get to bond with. So be very careful. Young men, young brothers who are athletes, y'all making this NIL money, you're feeling yourselves, you pulling up in Lambos, but think first before you move. You can't have every woman in the world. You don't want, or you shouldn't need every woman in the world. Find you somebody solid. But the caveat is, how do you find that once you're already the man? That's what makes it tough. So move smartly, man. Move smooth. Don't rush anything, and think twice. Think with your top head, not with your bottom one. The bottom one gets so many men in trouble. In the moment, it's fun. You're thinking about all these women. You have so much power. You're the man. But that comes and goes. That comes and goes. You being a man comes and goes. Think about, hey, average football career, 3 to 5 years. Over. Jamal Adams, I saw a report that he was cut from the Lions. Jamal Adams was the 5th pick of the draft, I think back in 2018, and Jamal was that dude, that boy. Jamal was that guy out the league. It can change just like that. So understand that you have a very short shelf life as an athlete. Move wisely. Understand that these people are around off of your status, not off of your character. They're around off of who you are and what you can provide for them, not the other way around. So make sure that you have people that are adding to your pot and not taking away your energy, not taking away your money, your time, your resources, all of those things. You are the breadwinner. You are the most important person in each dynamic of your life. So make sure, even with family as well, that you are protecting yourself and that you're moving wisely, y'all. So that's for all my young brothers. Man, be smart. Make sure that your woman is a great representation of you, that she's supporting you, that you are her world. And make sure that you are honoring her as your woman, that you are loving her as your woman and treating her right. So it goes both ways. So just because you are the breadwinner and you are powerful in each relationship dynamic of your life, that doesn't make you a butthole. You don't move crazy and treat people any type of way. Treat your woman right, treat your queen right, and she will love you as well. So to Travis, man, keep your head up, brother. Understand that you just got to move a little bit smarter. Have a talk with wifey. If you guys do decide to stay together, make sure that she's providing to the pot and that she's supporting your image and not tarnishing it. Because as you see, it can run amok and people use that because now your name means something. It always has and always will. So move righteously, brother, man. Everybody support him and hope for the best for him. But young brothers use that as a case study as well, to not end up like, even with this of, hey, okay, I got to make sure that my girl understands, listen, babe, we don't want to be like that. We want to be behind the scenes, only positivity being talked about us. So understand, don't laugh, learn. Don't laugh, learn. So we're going to close out after this. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace. Family, thank you guys so much for tuning in to the first Chillin' with Caleb of 2025, man. This has been the first one in a minute. Y'all, we about to be doing this every single week. So expect a weekly drop. I'm not sure what days I'm going to always drop on, but just know it's going to drop every week. But always comment below what topics you guys would like for us to tackle. You can follow the podcast page at 3 Milli Pod, and you can follow my personal at 3 Milli Caleb. Our productions page for the studio, production, all this stuff is at 3 Milli Productions. But thank y'all so much for always tuning in. This felt amazing being able to do this again. I love just being able to sit down, chop it up with you guys, get to see how my brain works somewhat, and I get to be interconnected with you all as well. But understand that we have so much content coming out in January and also February. We're about to be pumping out way more interviews this year as well. We did a lot last year, but understand we're going to be dropping like 2 interviews a week almost. So stay tuned in. It's going to be such a fun ride. But just know, man, the best is yet to come. But you guys will be able to see me on camera with our guests. Really, I'm going to be off camera and I'm going to have the guests on camera. And the camera's just going to focus on the guests, have it locked in on them. And then you guys will see me for Chillin' with Caleb's. But it's about the guests in 2025. I might interview a few people on camera, but other than that, the guests themselves, they'll be the main focus because I think that's way more important. And aesthetically, I like that look. So yeah, man, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all so much. We are doing big things this year. We have our documentary that will be dropping this year about Auburn Avenue and the history of Auburn Avenue. A lot of people talk about Black Wall Street, but Auburn Avenue had it popping as well. And people talk about Black Wall Street and the whole riot that happened and the race massacre, rather, that happened in 1921, but nobody talks about the race massacre that happened over here as well. So, and that happened before you had that in Black Wall Street. And Auburn Avenue here in Atlanta was referred to as the richest Negro street in the world by Fortune magazine. So there's so much history, rich history here in Atlanta, Auburn Avenue, and throughout. And that's, again, back to that Black American experience. So I think it's important that we tell these stories. We'll also have content dropping on Peep. It is a new platform for content creators. So we will be having exclusive drops on Peep because, again, the output is about to be so crazy. So shout out to our partners at Peep. We appreciate that team, It's a startup as well when it comes to sharing content. So I want you guys to create your own Peep account. You can monetize your content on day one. Yes, day one. So you don't have to build up your audience to their crazy number. You can monetize what you produce. So I appreciate y'all so much, man. This is about to be a great year. I turned 28 on January the 6th. So, man, time is lit right now. The 20s have been fun, and I'm very excited about what the future holds. So in the comments, talk to me, man. Tell me which guests you guys would love to see next on the platform. We got KT coming back soon. We got King Simon pulling up this month. We got the good brother Supreme Understanding. If you guys are tapped in with him, he will be our first interview that will be dropping of 2025. We got relationship coaches, man. We're going to be attacking every issue when it comes to the Black community this year, when it comes to relationships, finances, spirituality, metaphysics, Black history. We're going to be so flexible. Man, it's crazy. I'm telling y'all, just know it's going to be crazy. But I appreciate you guys. I love you all. Until next time, I'm blessed to be your host, Caleb Smith. Thank y'all. And I just want to leave y'all with this word real quick. In 2025, I want for you to believe in yourself. Understand that nothing magically changes from December 31st, 2024 to January 1st, 2025. It's going to change depending on you. You have to make that change, and you have to decide enough is enough. And even if you have been making progress, tell yourself this year is the year I 10X it. As long as you put the work in, God and the ancestors will give you everything that you need to constantly propel yourself. You just have to put yourself in position. So in 2025, put yourself in position to win. I love you guys. Blessed be your host, Caleb Smith. Thank y'all for everything that y'all have done for us, for the platform, and just to each other. Share the community, share the content, like, comment, and subscribe. Again, Caleb Smith, we out of here. Until next time, peace.